Let's put the spotlight on 5 charts that explain the impact of the West Asia war so far. And let's start off with the surge in oil prices that we are seeing. Before the start of the war, Brent crude was trading at $72 per barrel. Currently, it is at $112 per barrel, implying a 55% surge in crude oil prices since the war broke out. This is on account of the blockage of the Strait of Hormuz, which supplies nearly 20% of global oil and gas. And because of this, we have seen that spike up come in as far as oil prices are concerned. Second, let's also talk about gold, because gold and silver prices in the global market have been declining on account of expectations of higher interest rates for longer, and that is a negative for lower yielding assets like gold and silver. At the start of the war, gold was trading at about $5,300 per ounce. Currently, it is at $4,300 per ounce, implying a 15% decline since the start of the war. Third, let's talk about the dollar index, because dollar is firming up in the global market on account of dollar becoming a safe haven at a time like this when there is so much global uncertainty. At the start of the war, the dollar index was at 97.6 and currently it is above that 100 mark. So clearly this continues to see an impact. Fourth, let's also talk about the US 10-year bond yield, because that too has risen in the global market. Expectation is that Federal Reserve will keep interest rates higher for longer, and that is the reason why US 10-year bond yield has been rising over the last few days. At the start of the war, it was at 3.96. Currently, it is at 4.4, implying a 50 basis point hike since the start of the war. Fifth, and the most important one, let's also talk about the increase in freight costs. In fact, the Baltic Dry Index implies that freight costs in the global market have surged by nearly 120% since the start of the war. Insurance premium is rising, and that is the reason we are seeing an uptick as far as freight costs are concerned. So these are the 5 charts which depict the impact of the war so far.